long have you been plagued with daddy issues? How long have you felt like, I'm just not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough to do this or to say that or to even be that? You've tried time and time again to encourage yourself and to find confidence in the things that you have that you're passionate about, but you still feel like you're failing, like you aren't growing, like you aren't making the process that you need to make. And it always boils down to the fact that nobody ever told you that you were beautiful when you were growing up. Nobody was there for you when you cried and came home after school because you were being bullied. And it all boiled down to the fact that you were lacking in confidence. Your view of yourself was diminished because you grew up with an absentee father. Sis, I know your struggle. I've been there. And what I want you to do in this moment is I want you to think about how you really have been affected by growing up without a father. How many years has it been? Has it been 20, 23, 25, 18, 16, 29? I want you to write down on a piece of paper or in your phones, when is the last time that you had difficulty speaking up for yourself? When was the last time that you thought, I'm just not good enough for this? I can't do it. When was that last time that you had that thought come to your mind that said, you know what, I should just be quiet. I don't need to say nothing. Like they gonna figure it out. My opinion right now doesn't matter. If that thought has come to your mind, I want you to write it down. The last time when I told myself I wasn't good enough? When was the last time that you thought, I'm just not good enough for this? I can't do it. When was that last time that you had that thought come to your mind that said, you know what, I should just be quiet. I don't need to say nothing. Like they gonna figure it out. My opinion right now doesn't matter. If that thought has come to your mind, I want you to write it down. The last time when I told myself I wasn't good enough, it used to happen every single day. Every single day that I would get up, whether it was when I was at college, pursuing my degree, whether it was in corporate when I was at my job, even in my relationships, I found that it didn't matter whether it was professionally, physically, emotionally, romantically, socially, I never felt good enough. I always felt like my opinion didn't matter. And that's what happens when you grow up with an absentee father. When you don't develop a healthy relationship with your father. As a woman and as a daughter, you didn't receive those words of encouragement and the things that you needed to sustain a positive self-image, a high self-esteem. But I want to tell you that overcoming daddy issues has nothing to do with your father and everything to do with you and who you desire to be today. The thing about the past is that you can't change it. It is what it is. It happened. 20 plus years have gone by, 18 plus years have gone by, and you haven't seen a change. But you are seeing the consequences and dealing with the effects, such as low self-esteem or a negative self-image, because you didn't grow up without a father. You see, for me, it didn't matter if I was the cheerleading captain, or if I was singing on the praise team, or if somebody was like, oh, Kayla, you prayed that prayer at church. I still felt like, nah, but I'm lacking though. It wasn't that good. I didn't jump that high. The stunt wasn't really that powerful. I could have done this better. I should have done that better. And I was never able to be kind to myself because I was always criticizing who I was because I couldn't see my value. And I couldn't see my value because no one, as I grew up, reinforced that value to me on a daily basis. So if you wrote down the last time that you can recall that you said to yourself, I'm not good enough, or my opinion isn't good enough, so I'm not going to speak up, I want you to look at that right now. And as you're looking at that, I want you to do exactly what I did. Look at that. And I want you to ball it up. Why are we balling this up? Because it is not the truth. The truth is that you do have something important to say. The truth is that you can have fulfilling relationships. The truth is that you are such a valuable human. You are such a valuable woman. You are a valuable daughter. And though your earthly father may not have shown you the love and the devotion and the commitment and the protection that you needed as you were growing up, but sis, we can't stay here too long. Because if we stay here too long and we don't actually discover the pain points within our daddy issues and address it, then we run the risk of having our children grow up having daddy issues or growing up in a fatherless home. Or we add to the statistic of 19 plus million children that are growing up without a father. So you see, that's a cost I'm not willing to pay. And because I'm not willing to pay that cost, it was important for me to identify what I was struggling with. And at that time, it was low self-esteem. From as early as I can remember, because I never felt like I was good enough. I never thought I was pretty enough. I never thought I was smart enough. I made all A's in my classes, but I still was like, no, I'm not smart enough. There were guys when I was growing up that wanted to talk to me and told me that I was pretty, but it didn't feel the same. I'm not pretty enough to talk to him. He'll never want to be with me. And it was those thoughts that I fed myself for 15 plus years that put me at the age of 22 still struggling and still held captive by those daddy issues. So I challenge you today to think about the times when you told yourself that you're not good enough. Think about how that stopped you from sharing your valuable opinion. And think about how many nights you lost in sleep. Think about how many times you replayed conversations in your head like, man, I should have said that to him. Or man, I should have said that to her. Or think about the times when you left work and you were frustrated because you ended up taking on somebody else's work that they should have done for themselves, but you didn't know how to say no. I want you to think about your well-being. Because overcoming daddy issues is not about your father. It's about you dealing with you. So if you're ready to deal with you, if you're ready to address those daddy issues and really pinpoint what are the things that I deal with, is it low self-esteem? Is it a negative self-image? Do I lack the ability to establish boundaries? If you really want to understand what exactly it is that you struggle with, then head over to daddyissueschecklist.com. And at daddyissueschecklist.com, you'll be able to go through a checklist to see what statements resonate with you so you can better understand how deep your daddy issues run. I'm Kayla and I'm here for you always. If you're ready to discover your value, discover your identity, and discover your purpose, make the decision now to recognize your need and address your daddy issues.